Welcome back in, everyone. It is day 12 of our Bourbinsane Whiskey Advent Calendar. We're doing the 25 Drams of Christmas. Now, if you haven't noticed a little trend, Tuesdays and Thursdays we seem to switch away from bourbon. We move on to some rye, and that's what we're doing today. Willett 4-year rye. Now, for any of you who have not had any of the Willett family estate products, they really are something special. They're all hyped up. You know, the hype train is all over on the Willett family estate, but there's a reason. I mean, the ones I have had, which is still a limited amount, have been just fantastic. This 4-year is very good for a 4-year whiskey. Before we even get anything else. Now, as I mentioned, this is a rye whiskey. This is 4 years old, and proof on my bottle I have here is 111. So I actually have another bottle that I got from Willett Distillery when I was there. I was fortunate enough to go ahead and take a Willett VIP tour. We got to try stuff right out of the barrel. I mean, Willett family estate stuff out of the barrel, some ryes out of the barrel, high-aged, high-proof, barrel-proof stuff. It was a great experience. I did do a review of Willett Distillery. If you want to check that out, go do that. The bottle I was able to get there is still a 4-year, but it was actually signed by Evan and Drew Colsabine, who are the master distillers and, you know, run the Willett Distillery. So that was an incredible experience. But let's talk about this Willett 4-year. Now, this is a small batch product. Rye whiskey, meaning it's at least 51% rye. Mash bill on this is not disclosed, but it is cask strength. So they batch their barrels together, and they do leave it cask strength. So like I mentioned, this one is 111 proof. Let's look at color here. Now, in my light, it's really not super dark. For being cask strength, I'd like a little, I usually get a little more color, but not super dark on this. Almost like a medium caramel color. Legs, again, pretty much, I mean, there are some legs, I guess, but not a huge amount on it. So let's go into the nose. Cheers, everybody. Happy day 12. Actually has quite a bit of sweetness coming through initially on nose. Not a massive rye kick like I was expecting. First thing that pops through is a very candied cherry note. Almost like a cherry licorice, I guess is how I would describe it. Baking spices all over this too. I mean, clove, the licorice note is there, like I mentioned. I think it's like licorice and cherry. So, you know, that's why I say like a cherry Twizzler or a cherry red vine almost. Definitely cinnamon coming through on this too. Quite a bit of cinnamon. Now, a lot of rye whiskeys, I will get a strong dill note. Not on this bottle. This is more just baking spices galore. That cinnamon, dark cherries, lighter cherry notes, both. I mean, that the candy cherry notes and almost like a darker, richer cherry. Which a lot of that cherry licorice is how I describe it, at least. That's kind of the Willett profile for me. Coming through on this. It smells really good. So let's go into the taste. Cheers, everybody. Wow. So everything on the nose really translated pretty well to the palate. Spice kick on front of the palate for this, which with rye whiskeys I'll occasionally get that, but usually the spice for me hits the back, either whether it be barrel spice or just rye spice. I get it more on the front. Finish was actually pretty thin for being cask strength and my first sip of the day. So let's go in for another sip here. That was better. I mean, the mouth coating on that sip was much better. Brandied cherries, little bit of a sweet oak coming through as well. But really, it's the baking spices on this. I prefer, myself being a big bourbon drinker, I prefer a sweeter rye, you know, something that's more friendly for a bourbon drinker. This is definitely it. As I mentioned, it's cask strength at 111, which isn't massive. That's not a huge high number for being cask strength, but I'm pretty sure Willett does use a lower entry proof. Not super low, but kind of lower than the 125. I could be wrong, but if someone knows, you can let me know down in the comments below. I think overall this is a very well balanced bottle. Let's go in one more sip here. And there's more of that peppery kick. A little bit of even orange peel on the back of the palate now. So I got a little bit of rye spice with the pepper, orange peel, a little bit of oak on the back. But that baking spice sweetness is still sitting on the front of the palate. And it doesn't taste youthful. That's the best thing. I mean, rye does tend to age quicker than bourbon in general. You know, that's what it's said to do at least. But I think 4 years at this Wilett is good. Now, I have tried the 3-year Willett Family Estate Rye, and it was not as good. I don't have any right now, otherwise I'd do a side-by-side, but the 3-year it's definitely a lot rougher around the edges. I mean, I did actually get a good amount of alcohol burn on that, like the ethanol burn when I drank that. This is non-existent for me. This bottle, I don't have any alcohol burn at all. As you can see, this is still only 1-2 drinks down, a couple drinks down in the bottle. So being just a neck pour even, and I'm getting no alcohol burn like that, that's impressive. That's very impressive for a bottle. I did do a blind cask strength head-to-head tasting, and surprisingly enough, this bottle placed pretty high up in that. I'm not going to spoil what won, but if you have not seen that yet, go check it out. It's a really good head-to-head. A lot of fun to do trying some cask strength rye stuff, man, and rye whiskey is delicious. You know, I said this in the beginning of the month, but if you have not ventured into rye at all, I would suggest you do it, especially being a bourbon drinker. I mean, the similarities are there, and there's a lot of very, very friendly ryes, as I mentioned. So the world of rye is excellent, and there's some great stuff out there. But overall, the Willett Family Estate, about $50 to $70, depending on where you get it. Fortunately, Bobby and Sam from My Whiskey She Wines, they were kind enough to hook me up with this bottle. I can't get it locally, so they helped me acquire it, and it was very much appreciated. I'd say at about the $50 price range, if you can get this bottle, I would pick it up again. Being cask strength, I love the flavors that come through, how friendly they are. It'd be a pickup for me. If you're pushing 70, that's tough. I mean, that is tough for a 4-year rye. But at $50, I would say definitely get a bottle. Thank you so much for joining me for day 12 of our 25 Drams of Christmas. Tomorrow, we have got a very, very good bourbon. Probably the most store picks I have of this bourbon of anything else in my bar. Let me know what you think tomorrow is going to be. I appreciate y'all hanging out today. Thank you for joining me. I will see you in the morning. Stay insane, everyone.